helping and supporting businesses of all sizes grow into this dynamic market is a wonderful thing to do, and it's really a very key part of this trade mission. And I'll give you one example. I just gave you a bunch of household names that are big companies from Canada that's here in Malaysia. But there is a wonderful little company called Wedge Networks. It's a cybersecurity software business based in Calgary, Alberta. For those of you who don't know, Calgary, Alberta, it is a beautiful part of the country with incredible mountains and just a friendly, wonderful group of wonderful part of Canada. And with the long-term support through Canada's Trade Commission service here in Kuala Lumpur, Wedge Networks has secured a big contract with the Malaysian government and in 2022. And business is continuing to grow for this little company in Malaysia. I often have a phrase as Canada's trade minister. I often say the job is to help companies start up, scale up, and access those international markets, just like that here in Malaysia. And it's really great to see that Wedge Networks, a small company based out of Calgary, Alberta, is growing and has a contract with the Malaysian government. It is this kind of success that is proof that Canada is uniquely positioned to meet the needs of Malaysia and the Indo-Pacific economies that are here. And in fact, it's at all levels and across the Indo-Pacific that Canada is finding new ways to enhance business-to-business ties, such as here in Malaysia. It includes, for example, Canada being elevated to strategic partnership, and again, thank you to Malaysia. They were so helpful in supporting Canada in our aspirations to become a strategic partnership, and that was completed in September of 2023. Last year, or last month rather, we opened Canada's new Indo-Pacific Agriculture and Agri-Food office for the region. That's based out of Manila. It'll act as a regional hub for those export opportunities. We've appointed the first ever Canada's first Indo-Pacific trade representative, so a senior level official that's based here in the region. Paul Topple, who is here with us, he's going to be, he is based out of Jakarta, and we will be opening a Canadian trade gateway to the Indo-Pacific in Singapore a little later this year. So there's a lot of work to be done and a lot of commitment on the part of the Canadian government to be here in this region, starting with Malaysia on this trade mission. And these are just some of the examples. And maybe the final point I will leave everyone with is where Canada and Malaysia trade and investment can grow. And I think that that is you. It's everyone in this room, because you being here, whether you're a Canadian entrepreneur or business, whether you're a Malaysian business to partner with Canada, whether it's just deepening that strong people-to-people tie and diplomatic relationship that we've had for 67 years, all of you are laying that groundwork to build this relationship so that we can build from strength to strength between Canada and Malaysia. So that word again, opportunities, which is where I started. I think for Canadians, it's the opportunities for the key insights, market intelligence, and the on-the-ground support that you're going to get over the next number of days. It's the opportunities to access and to directly engage with the Malaysian businesses, potential partners and investors, and key decision makers who are here. And for our Malaysian friends, it's an opportunity to see firsthand, I hope for you, why Canada is such a partner of choice for you. And I'm so thankful to my ministerial colleague for also opening the doors and making available all members across the Malaysian team, across other departments as well, to be so welcoming and to help facilitate that entry into those various access points here in Malaysia for you. So in the coming days, I can't wait to see what happens here. It already started with a lot of excitement last evening when I attended the launch, and last night was really great to see so many face to face. But after all, there's a wonderful saying that I want to leave everyone with, and I hope I get this Malaysian proverb right. It is "Bagi Kenan Dibeleng Dua." So what does that mean? Bagi Kenan kedua-dua. Did I get that right? Okay, perfect. I was wondering. But what it stands for, it's like a nut cleft that is in two. And in other words, it is a perfect match, Canada and Malaysia. So thank you so much. Merci beaucoup tout le monde. And terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister Eng. We're truly delighted to hear that Malaysian and Canadian commercial bilateral relations are stronger than ever, and moving forward some exciting times on how Team Canada and the trade mission here will progress. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my great pleasure to invite to the stage the Honourable Senator Tengku Datuk Seri Utama Zafrul Tengku Aziz, latest Minister of International Trade and Industry, to deliver his keynote.
Thank you. Honourable Mayor, Minister of Export Promotion, International Trade and Economic Development of Canada, His Excellency Wayne Robson, High Commissioner of Canada in Malaysia, Secretary General of MITI, Datuk, Captains of Industries, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. So very good morning and Salam Malaysia Madani to everyone. And of course, a very warm welcome to the Honourable Mary Eng and the Team Canada Trade Mission. I believe more than 200 representatives of strategic sectors from Canada are here with us today. First of all, thank you for choosing Malaysia as one of your TCTM destinations in Asia. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, first. And as mentioned, in fact, our bilateral trade and investment relations date back all the way to 1957, with Canada being among the first few countries to establish formal diplomatic relations with the newly independent Malaysia at the time. So ladies and gentlemen, in 2023, Malaysia's global trade reached close to 580 billion US dollars. That's an increase around 7% compared to the year before. And this was decrease. This was consistent with the sluggish global demand, lower commodity prices, geopolitical uncertainties, high inflation rate, and a down cycle, especially for Malaysia in the semiconductor sector. And similarly, there was a decline in trade for last year, but if we look since 2018, especially since we are both members of CPTPP, we have seen the increase, especially exports mainly from E&E products, rubber products, as well as manufacturers of metal to Canada. And we import products such as chemical products, cereals, and E&E products from Canada. And thankfully, this year, I think the projection looks better. Both Mr. Mary and myself, we were in Abu Dhabi a month ago for the MC13 WTO, where the forecast for next year looks quite promising, given the challenges we've been facing. In fact, last year, trade grew only around 0.2%, lowest in 50 years, and this year is forecasted to be growing around 3.3%. This is especially for merchandise. So in terms of investment, I think, as what Minister Mary mentioned, Malaysia is proud to host many Canadian companies like Celestica or Sun Life. In my previous life as CEO of CIMB, we had a joint venture with Sun Life, and then we have other companies as well, and they have not been here last 5 years. They have been here more than a decade, so they're not new to Malaysia. And as of today, since 1980, there's 96 manufacturing projects with Canadian participation that have been implemented. And the amount is big, I think close to 300 million US dollars. And of course, the top 3 sectors for Canadian investments are E&E, basic metal products, and wood products. So I'm also delighted to share that these products have created positive spillover, created employment for Malaysia, in fact creating employment close to 11,000 Malaysians. And so the Canada Trade Mission today is a platform to up our game on both trade and investment. So we invite many of you who are here today, the Canadian businesses, to consider Malaysia as your main trading and investment partner in this region. So let me do a bit of a pitch why Malaysia and not us. So there are numerous compelling reasons for this, but let me share just 3 today. Firstly, our clear policies on not just our industrial development, but also industrial reforms. All this will drive Malaysia's future exports. So, ladies and gentlemen, in September last year, we launched our industrial master plan. We call it the new industrial master plan 2030. We have adopted a different approach. We have adopted a mission-based approach. In a nutshell, it's an ambitious, large-scale re-industrialization program that will be driven by 4 missions, which are 1, to advance economic complexity. Secondly, is to tech up for us to be a digitally vibrant nation. Of course, third is quite important, is to push for net zero. And finally, to safeguard economic security and inclusivity, which is also key, I believe, to Canada. So to that end, Malaysia has increased focus on courting investment in specific high-tech and high-value industries, and those that will help our established industries to move up the global value chain. And so we warmly welcome Canadian investors to collaborate with us in those sectors, such as semiconductor, is more the high-end, looking at IC design and fabrication, especially chemicals, advanced materials, aerospace, pharmaceuticals, medical devices, and as I mentioned this morning, in addition to our net zero push and our sustainability agenda, our industrial master plan also targets for high growth sectors such as EVs, renewable energy, carbon capture, utilization and storage, green manufacturing, and circular economy, which I understand are very much aligned with the Canada Trade Mission's objectives as well. On getting our industries, particularly our SMEs, I know Mr. Mary, you are very focused on the SMEs. We too here in Malaysia are also focusing, especially given the important role they play in driving our economy, is also to get SMEs to embrace the ESG principles. Right? So we launched the National ESG Industry Framework for the manufacturing sector in September last year. So we call it the ESG. So it serves as a guide for businesses, particularly SMEs, to start incorporating ESG considerations into their operations. And this is an integral part of our industrial master plan mission when we look at economic inclusivity. So really, the purpose, of course, is to help for them to manage risks and build resilience, while also ensuring their continued access to ESG sensitive markets. So on that score, our existing and potential Canadian partners are very much welcome to offer their expertise to build up the ESG capacity of our SMEs. So ladies and gentlemen, that was my first point. The second point for you to consider when going business with Malaysia, or when doing business with Malaysia, is not just our discipline and execution, but also our respect for the rule of law. So on execution, manufacturing projects here will generally take 18 up to 24 months from approval to getting off the ground, depending of course on the level of complexity. I'm pleased to share with you that in the past year alone, due to our discipline and execution, there were quite a few projects that were successfully implemented in a shorter period of less than 18 months. Reminder is here. There's a few examples that I can mention. The skin Enovics, Ferrotech manufacturing, Ultra Green technology. There's a few that your companies can look at, where we could say done some within 12 months. That is obviously with the establishment of our Invest Malaysia Facilitation Center, where we have a one-stop facilitation center to assist all of you to ensure that execution is done in a timely manner. So I want to touch briefly on the Malaysian semiconductor industry. As you probably already know, Malaysia contributes 7% of the global semiconductor trade and 13% of the global semiconductor testing and packaging sector. So our industrial master plan has outlined a clear pathway towards moving up the value chain for the sector, which has been established in Malaysia for the last 50 years. So it has enabled the growth of many sectors that depend on chips and semiconductors, such as EVs, life sciences and medical equipment, aerospace, and even renewable energy technology, which you can consider. Our interesting sectors, Minister Mary mentioned now, include halal food and ingredients. I know many companies are here. Clean technology, defense, IR 4.0 technology, and as you know, speaking of halal, we will have our 20th Malaysia International Halal Showcase in Kuala Lumpur, which is the biggest platform for all companies to participate in when it comes to halal trade. So anyway, whichever sector you are looking at in terms of investment or trade, you can count on our strong discipline execution, as well as the rule of law, should you consider making Malaysia your regional trade or investment hub. So ladies and gentlemen, comes to my last point. My third point is on how our exporters can leverage on the free trade agreements that both our countries have signed, including of course what Minister Dari mentioned just now, the CPTPP. But of course, firstly I would like to congratulate Canada on its chairmanship for the CPTPP Commission for the year 2024. In my meeting with Mr. Mary earlier today, I reiterated Malaysia's support to the priorities outlined by Canada in 2024, including its stewardship in leading the general review of the CPTPP and then enhancing utilization of the CPTPP for SMEs, women, and also indigenous businesses. So together with Canada, we also look forward to UK's eventual implementation of the CPTPP in the coming months. And as you mentioned just now, CPTPP entered into force for Malaysia in 2022. In fact, it was on, if I'm not mistaken, 29th November 2022. And in the past 15 months, there has been encouraging updates on the issuance of certificates of origin by our businesses for export to CPTPP partners, of course, including Canada. So I'm pleased to share that Canada is also our second largest export market for trade and services after the US in 2022. So we have the two largest components, actually, transport and travel. So Minister Mariam, I believe events such as today's business forum could begin or expand collaborative partnerships between our two countries' businesses and investors. And what better way to do it through this way, through a trade mission and of course through the platform that we have. So with transparency and protection afforded through the various agreements, especially CPTPP, I believe we can further encourage expansion in other areas of services, trade, investment and services. And ultimately, it's all about promoting free trade and a rules-based multilateral trading system. So on this, I'm pleased to share that thanks to our whole-of-government approach and through Canada's expert deployment mechanism for trade and development (EDM), two Malaysian ministries, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability and Ministry of Human Resources, have undertaken steps for cooperation programs. So all this help build a strong foundations towards the general review of the CPTPP. So, but beyond that, we are also optimistic, as you mentioned just now, on the additional trade potential via the ASEAN-Canada Free Trade Agreement, of which Malaysia is also a party and a coordinating country. And as you said just now, the target is to get this signed when Malaysia chairs the ASEAN in 2025. So ladies and gentlemen, in closing, I wish the Canada Trade Mission all the success in bringing tangible outcomes and mutual benefits to both our countries. I can assure you that our ministry, my colleagues are all here today, together with the very relevant agencies who are also present here today. We are at your disposal and we will assist you to the best of our ability. So aim is, of course, to establish great synergies and achieving fruitful outcomes from our collaborations. And to all the Canadian delegates, of course, you all know Ramadan is a special month, and tonight I will be attending the iftar, and really the month helps appreciate the blessing of food. So do take this opportunity to enjoy some local delicacies at whichever hotel you are staying at home. You are staying at various hotels in Kuala Lumpur. Please enjoy the food. You can enjoy it any time of the day. But for me and my colleagues, we look forward to seeing all of you here tonight at the iftar dinner. So thank you again very much.
Thank you, Mr. Zafrul. We'd like to invite you, sir, to kindly remain on stage. As I would like to invite Minister Mary King to kindly join Minister Zafrul on stage for a photo opportunity. Members of the media to kindly come forward to record some of the photo opportunities that we'll have before we bring this session to a close. As I invite both Honourable Ministers to remain on stage, I would like to now invite His Excellency Mr. Wayne Robson, High Commissioner, the High Commissioner of Canada and Malaysia, to kindly join the Honourable Ministers on stage for a photo. And for one final photo, I'd like to invite all our distinguished guests in the front row to kindly join the Honourable Ministers and His Excellency to wrap things up for this morning's session. Thank you, members of the media, and thank you, the Honourable Senator Tengku Utama, Zafrul, Aziz, and the Honourable Minister Mary King for joining us this morning. We'd like to invite both ministers to kindly adjourn to follow on the schedule for the day. Members of the media, to kindly take note. They will be having several sessions today, so I invite all our other delegates to please remain seated. The sector-specific sessions will be taking place downstairs in Inspire Rooms for those of you who have signed up. You may proceed shortly to Inspire Room 3 and 4 for ICT, Inspire Room 5 and 6 for Cleantech, Inspire Room 7 and 8 for Agriculture and Agri-Food, and Inspire Room 9 and 10 for Aerospace. Please hang tight, please take a seat as we allow for the departure of our two distinguished ministers, and thank him for joining us this morning. Can we have a round of applause for both our ministers? And once again to the Trade Mission from Team Canada, welcome to Malaysia. Delegations will be taking their leave. We invite all delegates who have signed up for ICT to proceed to Inspire Room 3 and 4, Cleantech, Inspire Room 5 and 6. Agriculture and Agri-Food, Inspire Room 7 and 8. And Aerospace, Inspire Room 9 and 10. We wish everyone a great productive day ahead. And to all our Muslim friends joining us, once again, Selamat Berpuasa, Ramadan Mubarak. We'll see you at the next event hosted today. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Have a great day ahead. Sekian wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Aku tak tahu PC dulu. Bila masa lah dia saya membuat PC dulu bawah dia ni. Lama PC ni.
Dia baca ucapan dia tadi juga.
Faham ya?
Macam soalan.
Dia punya ucapan tu.
Memang sikit aku ni terus. Dulu. Aduh, kecoh lah. Ada reporter pun. Wah, nampak. Ada dah. Ada. Ada kat sini.
Tapi siapa nak dapat bantu boleh lah.
Mana? Siapa?
Tak ada dah. Kita ni dah keluar dah.
Boleh balik lah.
Boleh balik lah. Isi tadi dia cakap dengan sama apa?
Sama je. Tengah minta speech je. Tak apalah. Motor dah speech je lah.
Dia speech. Kita tak boleh dengar sangat lah. Dia jauh.
Apa? Tak dengar eh?
Dia jauh sikit lah. Oh, dia cakap dia speech tadi dia sama dengan apa dia cakap?
Sebenarnya kat PC tak dengar. Tak berapa dengar PC dia. Kerja sama je. Kerja sama dia orang.
Dia kau pun tak dapat audio tak?
Mic pun letak mic pun dia cakap dua-dua cakap asing.
Tapi record lah. Dua ni tadi yang cakap satu tu cakap aku record.
Pakai yang clear ni. Pakai yang
Clear. Biasalah clear dengar macam tu lah.
PC tak ada Q&A pun. Dia orang cakap benda yang tak ada Q&A. Sama je.
Kejap lagi kejap.
Aku tak tahu, Seri aku tak tahu ada PC ni. Macam mana kau boleh tahu? Tadi dia orang ada media buat semua. Kat atas. Dekat itu. Turun bawah sini. Dia tak bukan ini, bawah lagi. Bawah lah ada. Aku naik tak tahu orang. Aku datang, tengok ada orang cakap, Kak, saya nak, apa ni, nak register media mana? Okey, media tak ada register, awak lepas media, awak masuk dalam.